Hello and welcome to Fullerton Educators here at Fullerton College Television. My name is Eric, and today we are joined by one of Fullerton College's very own professors. Now let's introduce Mr. Bill Hayner, who's here to share with us some stories and experiences from his life. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Let's jump into the interview. So tell us, Mr. Hayner, who are you and what do you teach here at Fullerton College?
I'm a teacher, obviously. I'm a native Texan. I grew up in West Texas and moved out here in the 80s in order to absorb the art culture of the West Coast, realizing that Los Angeles is an art center that is very important in the entire world. Yeah. And to also go to college to get my master's degree to increase my knowledge and improve my abilities as an artist, and was fortunate enough to land a teaching job here at Fullerton College, and have been here for decades, and just feel very fortunate that that's the case.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good to hear. Tell us, how did you become a professor here at Fullerton College?
Well, it took a lot of time. I took 5 years to get through graduate school, partially because once you're in the graduate program there in the art department, you get a free studio, which was worth a lot for any artist. So I took my time. But eventually they kicked me out, said, okay, you got your degree, go away. So I started, as many artists do, once you have that degree, you start looking around for a place to teach. And I discovered Fullerton and came and met with the people here. I did teach for a year at Cal State Long Beach, which gave me some experience, and that helped getting a class or two here. I started out teaching at many campuses, 1 or 2 classes, and eventually went into full-time teaching, and it's been one of the most fortunate things that's ever happened for me, discovering good old Fullerton College.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Was there any student that stood out in any of your classes?
Well, there have been so many, of course, but one comes to mind. Several years ago, I was teaching a lecture course called, it used to be called Intro to Art, because I've always been interested in art history, and I had a sight-deprived student, totally blind, and she took my lecture class with an assistant and did really well, very bright young woman. And when the class finished, she approached me and said, Mr. Hayner, I understand you teach drawing. Could you accept me as a drawing student? And I'd never had that challenge before. And I said, sure, come on. And we just worked together so that she could do the kind of work. And I told her at the outset, let's make this our goal. Let's find a way for you to do drawings that are satisfying to you and to me. And we found a way and did it. And that was wonderful.
That's good. It's really inspiring.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
I also hear you were really into in the music scene in your youth, so tell us, what was your first concert like?
Oh, good grief. My first concert, I got to see a band called Cream, and the guitarist who was the star of the show was another Eric, Eric Clapton by name, and it was totally amazing. This was, you know, the 60s and the 70s when music was central to everything, and it was, wow. Fantastic.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. We would love to hear more after this commercial break.
Certainly.
What is art? Is it passion? Is it dedication? Is it talent? Is it beauty? Whatever it is to you, elevate your art.
And welcome back to our show. We are still here with our guest, Bill Hayner. Now that we are back, could you tell us some of your popular artists and creators that you grew up with, and how has that changed your own art?
Sure. Well, I think as many young artists, I started out as what you might call a realist, doing what we sometimes call representational art, and following my fascination with objects in the world and people and learning how to draw and paint things as I see them. So my work was pretty much like that, it's sort of a realist kind of approach. But then I had the chance to see an art show at the Fort Worth Art Museum of work. It was mostly, as I remember, small watercolor paintings by an artist by the name of Kandinsky, Vasily Kandinsky, who was a painter way back, early 1900s, and is actually credited for being one of the pioneers of what we call non-objective painting, which is paintings that have no recognizable objects. It's totally abstract. And I hadn't explored that kind of work or that method of working before, but what I came away with from that was that there was a kind of courage doing that kind of work, because to me, the artist was saying to me as a viewer, you may not like what I'm doing, it may be different from other things you're experiencing, but it's who I am. And that affected me very strongly.
I feel like everyone has like their own like way to express themselves.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, every one of us is an artist. I mean, the creativity is there. It may not manifest itself as somebody else, drawing and painting. It may be a way that you build things or what have you, but I really believe it's there in every human being.
I feel the same way.
Yeah.
It sounds like you got around back in the day, but as I also heard that you lived in Texas as well as New York for a while. Could you tell us any of your favorite memories from there?
Sure. Well, becoming an artist in Texas, one of the things that you would start to learn, especially if you've got a degree and you're ready to go out there and show your work, is that it might be a good idea to go either to the left coast or the right coast to try to become an artist and be successful at it. So for some reason I was attracted to New York. I went there first, gave it a try. Too much cold weather, and they could not supply me with a decent Mexican food restaurant no matter how far I looked. So I switched, came to Southern California. Warm weather, beautiful place, and decent Mexican food everywhere. And I said, this is for me.
That's good. That's good to hear. Can you tell us, were you into any counterculture in your youth? If so, could you share your experience?
Sure. Well, you know, I turned 20 in 1968. So I was there in the midst of the 60s and 70s. Like many of my friends, I became a hair god. My hair was down to here. And I got into rock and roll. I actually formed my own little band. We did a lot of blues music, actually. I was influenced by blues music in Texas a lot. And experienced that culture. And it was so rich, I didn't realize at the time, but music was so central to my generation. And it was a fabulous time for music of all kinds. So I think about the music when I think about that period.
And do you still keep in touch with like your band or your band members?
Well, old band members, yeah, I do. My bass player, Frank McCulley from Fort Worth, Texas, who's also a fabulous artist.
That's good.
I go back and we jam a little bit every once in a while. It's great fun.
That's good. Do you guys share like any like, what do you say, like art, I guess, like with each other?
Oh, absolutely. He's a fabulous artist. He continued with a very realistic approach to things and does amazing things. I bounce around all over the place. I do realism, I do abstraction, and anything that inspires me, I jump into it.
Okay. That's all the time we have for today, but thank you for coming on and speaking with us. We appreciate your time as well as your drive to educate and inspire students here at Fullerton College. And thank you, viewers, for joining us, and make sure to tune in next time here on Fullerton College TV.
Thanks for having me.